Hi, and welcome to the Private School Podcast. I'm your host, Reverend Vieira from ScholarSkills Learning Center. And today I'd like to speak with you about an extremely important topic, and that is preparation for the exams that help your children to get the scores they need to qualify for top independent schools. Now, what are these exams? These exams are the ISEE, that is the Independent Schools Entrance Exam, and the SSAT, the Secondary School Admissions Test. Schools, the independent schools, will prefer one or the other, some both. You would have to check with the school to see which test they would like you to do. Normally, schools would accept both exams. But here's the bottom line. These exams are difficult, and they require advanced training in math and reading skills. The biggest mistake parents make is to wait until it is time to apply to these schools and then take a short-term test prep program. That is not enough. Your children need to be prepared systematically over a period of years so they can qualify not only for these schools, but also for the programs that facilitate direct entrance into these schools. Programs such as A Better Chance or Prep for Prep or Oliver Scholars, they all have cutoff points where your scores, your children's scores on the ISEE or the SSAT become very important. Now, these scores are not the only reason kids get accepted or not accepted to these programs or schools, but they certainly are a very important factor, a very important criteria, and so they cannot be understated. It is so important that your children are prepared in advance for these exams, which will help them to qualify for prestigious programs and the top schools. So, how do you do this? How do you prepare them for these exams? Well, the skills that are necessary are pretty basic skills. They're fundamental, but they must be done in, again, what I say, a systematic way. And so let me give you a breakdown of what these skills should be so that you are preparing your children in advance for these programs. So what do they need to do? They need to learn how to read key ideas and details. They need to read closely to determine what the text says explicitly and to make logical inferences from any text. They need to be able to cite specific textual evidence when writing or speaking to support conclusions that are drawn from the text. They need to be able to determine central ideas or themes of a text and analyze their development, summarizing the key idea that supports the text in details. They need to also understand how to analyze how and why individuals, events, and ideas develop and interact over the course of a text, which is what we call craft and structure. And then they need to interpret words and phrases as they are used in a text, including determining technical, connotative, and figurative meanings, and analyzing how specific word choices shape meaning or tone. Your children need also to be able to analyze the structure of texts, including how specific sentences, paragraphs, and larger portions of the text, let's say a section, a chapter, scene, or a stanza, relate to each other and the whole. They need to be able to assess how point of view or purpose shapes the content and style of a text, which is the integration of knowledge and ideas. They need to be able to delineate and evaluate the argument and specific claims in a text, including the validity of the reasoning as well as the relevance and sufficiency of evidence. So you see, this is not easy work, and this cannot be accomplished in a 2-month course or a 3-month course. These types of skills need to be built systematically along the way, step by step. And so bottom line is they need to be able to read and comprehend complex literary and informational texts independently and proficiently so that they can respond to literature by employing knowledge of literary language, textual features, and forms to read and comprehend, reflect upon, and interpret literary texts from a variety of genres and a wide spectrum of American and world cultures. This is difficult, but it can be done over a period of time. How is this done? Parents, you need to emphasize 3 things. 1, your children should learn vocabulary in a systematic manner. Not just all over the place, a hodgepodge of vocabulary books, some things in school. No, they need to have a vocabulary acquisitional program, a systematic way in which they're learning new vocabulary words every day. Secondly, they need to pay attention to grammar. You need to make sure that your children have mastered the parts of speech and that they know how those parts of speech function within sentences and how sentences are connected to each other to create coherence and clarity through transitional words. Grammar is essential. Vocabulary is essential. And finally, they need to read a wide variety of literature. They need to read popular magazines. They need to, when I say popular, I don't mean People or Us. I mean magazines such as Scientific American, National Geographic. And yes, for their ages, those magazines are available, especially National Geographic. They need to read about the news. They need to read the New York Times. They need to take notes when they see a vocabulary word that they don't know. They need to read stories. They need to read anthologies of stories like those found in William Bennett's Book of Virtues, a great book that I recommend. Let me say it again, the Book of Virtues, a great book that exposes children to all types of literature, all levels of vocabulary and complexity. There's a children's version of that, by the way, called the Children's Book of Virtues, and I recommend that. By the way, I recommend the Bible as a great source of literature and knowledge. If you're in Western civilization and you don't know the Bible, you are at a great disadvantage since so many important works of literature are predicated upon your knowledge of the Bible. So that's just my suggestion in terms of reading, grammar, and vocabulary. True brilliance. At the risk of sounding simplistic, let's not complicate the obvious. There are really only 4 academic skills that students really need to succeed. I want to boil it down here for you. Students need to be skillful readers, number 1. They need to be skillful mathematicians, number 2. They need to be skillful writers, number 3. And they need to be skillful test takers, number 4. In other words, they need to be fluent in reading, writing, and math. And they need to demonstrate that excellence in these 3 areas on a variety of standardized exams. Let me say it again. Skillful reading, skillful mathematical thinking, skillful writing, and skillful test taking. That's it. Now, we need to ask what are the components of these 4 critical areas, and what does it take to be a skillful reader? What does it take to be a skillful mathematician? What does it take to be a skillful writer? And finally, what does it take to be a skillful test taker? Now, I've already told you what it takes to be a skillful reader. Vocabulary, grammar, and all the components of reading skills, which I enumerated very early in the show. Vocabulary, we talked about that. Grammar, we've talked about that. And certainly now writing, though. Students who are able to analyze words and sentences are then able to discover and imitate the rich nuances and varieties of structures that writers deploy to communicate their thoughts. Your children need a rich knowledge of word and sentence structure which empowers them to write with complexity and clarity as they learn and imitate the style and substance from the writings they've been equipped to understand. Students are also enabled to analyze, edit, and improve their own work. In effect, a clear understanding of word and sentence structure sets your children on the road to becoming effective writers. And what is an effective writer? An effective writer is one who can convey complexity with clarity, simplicity with style, and persuasiveness with power. Skillful readers can make skillful writers, and skillful writers can make skillful readers. Effective readers and writers rely on their analytical sense of words and sentences to understand and to create meaning. And if I'm pounding away at the verbal section of all of this, if I'm stating over and over again, rather, the importance of reading skills, it is really because reading is the most essential skill for success in life and in school. You may not do well in math sometimes, but unless you're going to be a mathematician, that skill, the necessity for math, will cease somewhere around your first year of college, unless you take a math course. But you will always have to read. And you will always have to write. And even in math, your ability to read and analyze text becomes essential, becomes extremely important. And so you cannot minimize the need for your children to really spend time learning how to think and write and read and to do all of these things in terms of complex texts. This is really important. But let me not forget math, and let me move on to that now, okay? Because these exams, and by the way, you would have guessed it by now, not just the ISEE or the SSAT, but the ACT and the SAT, the college exams, will require the same levels of skills. And so once you're preparing your children over the long term, then you are preparing them in advance for the difficult exams they have to take to qualify for scholarships and things of that nature when it comes to the College Board exams such as the SAT or the ACT exam. So all of these exams are on the same continuum. They require the same types of skills, perhaps in different ways, but if you are teaching these skills to your children now, you're preparing them for the future. Well, what about math? Let's think of fluency in math. Think of math as a language. Those who are most skilled in teaching languages tell us that the best way to learn a language is to think in that language. Math is no different. Skilled math students think in the language of math. They can add without calculators, and they can reason analytically according to abstract mathematical principles. How do students become fluent in math? Fluency is built step by step through systematic mastery in each stage in mathematical development and thinking. Students must begin, for example, with an understanding of place value. Place value is so important in those early grades. If you don't master that first step of place value, understanding our numerical system and understanding that each digit stands for a value according to the position of that digit, you're going to be in trouble for the rest of your math career, for the rest of school. Students must learn to master the grammar of math, which is their multiplication, addition, subtraction, and division tables. I can't stress this enough, parents. I just don't know what to say at this point. This is where you come in. This is not where schools come in. This is where you come in. Grab some flashcards by first grade. Start teaching your children to add. The addition tables are really important, but they're very simple. 1 plus 1. Put the answer in the back equals 2. Train them to memorize these. But also show them. Take beans, put it on the table. Take Play-Doh. Take 2 or 3 things, add them together, put them in groups, show them what addition is. You can do this. When you go to the supermarket, show them how to add up prices. Speak of addition constantly. Speak of subtraction in the same way. Make subtraction tables. Make subtraction cards. This is important beyond anything I can state today. By the time they get to 3rd grade, they should have mastered their addition and subtraction tables. In 3rd grade now, they're going to be mastering their multiplication and division tables. There's no way around this. You can buy things with songs and bells and whistles. Look, get the flashcards. Show them how this works conceptually by using tangible things that can be moved around. But in the bottom line, help them to memorize them every day. You can take a card a day or 2 cards a day. And I like a fun game where you take flashcards and let's say your children have created the multiplication tables from 1 to 12. And you can simply then take, let's say, the 2 times tables. And after they've studied them, let's play a game. Let's see how much you know. And if they have these 12 cards, and you'll say 2 times 2, and they'll say 4. You give them that card, they've won that card. You say 2 times 3, they'll say 6. Hey, give them that card. They've won that card. But if you say 2 times 8 and they say 17, you hold that card, you put it aside, and you say, hey, you've got to win that card again. Okay? So every time they get something right, they're being rewarded with a small win. Then you retest them on the ones they didn't get. By the way, it's a 3-second rule as far as I'm concerned. They should know these unconsciously and be able to get the answer within 3 seconds. If they have to think too long, they have not committed them to memory, and they need to have them memorized. When you're doing word problems, you cannot hold in your memory the words and what is being asked of you, and at the same time stuff into your memory bank and say, how do I then do 2 times 3? 2 times 3 should be off the table of your memory. You don't need that. You just recall that very quickly because it's already there. So you need to be careful that your children have memorized these, and that little game is a great one to play with the flashcards. Let them win, and by the way, add rewards, but for real excellence, And then in the week, if they like McDonald's, which I don't, but whatever they like, if you do natural food or whatever, give them something to say, hey, you've mastered your 2 times tables. That way you are linking excellence with pleasure. They're getting something good for doing something great. And that's what you want to do. So math is not a struggle for them now because you've been encouraging them. They've been getting small wins every day, little by little by little. And by the end of the month, they've mastered their tables, or they've mastered 2 or 3 tables. This is not a race. As long as it's done incrementally and consistently and in a way that rewards them, you are the coach. Keep working with them, parents. Keep working with them. There is no teacher in America better than you when it comes to reinforcing and teaching the learning of the addition tables, which are the alphabet of math. If your children don't know the alphabet in English, the English alphabet, they can't spell and they can't read. And if they don't know the alphabet of math, which is the multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction tables, well, guess what? They can't think in math, and they'll never be fluent math students. So what happens when students come to ScholarSkills often, we find that in 4th grade, 3rd grade, 5th grade, they haven't learned their tables yet. Now we've got to teach them concepts and their tables. Very difficult, very difficult. But you see, those tables are the foundation. That's what you build a house on. And if the house is rickety, as they say at the foundations, you're going to be in trouble. So you need then to make sure that your children are getting the foundations they need to succeed, both in English and in math. You want to make sure that they're getting the grammar and vocabulary they need in English, and you want to make sure that they're mastering their tables in math. This cannot be overstated. So if you want them to be fluent in math, make sure that they've mastered their tables. Students who do not master these early stages will struggle with math throughout their careers in school because, you see, each stage builds on the other. Parents, you must make sure that your children are learning math developmentally according to these 3 principles. Put simply, never allow your children to move from one topic until they master the preceding and foundational topic. So the principles that I've spoken of are the principles in terms of the addition tables, in terms of thinking analytically and thinking conceptually in math. Really important. Finally, we look at test-taking skills. And, often though, the best test-taking skill is confidence. When your kids approach an exam and they know, they've got their grammar down, they've got their vocabulary down, they know how to write, they know how to read, they know how to spell, they know how to think mathematically. Confidence is the first test-taking skill. And once they have that, they're fine. Then you teach them how to take certain exams. You want to show them how to circumvent or how to strategize through the exam. They know what questions to answer, how to answer them. We want to teach them how to work within time constraints because the clock is always ticking in their subconscious. We want them to be disciplined and systematic in their approach to solving problems. We want them to know how to move on from missed problems to work on new ones with fresh mental energy. They have to know how to pace themselves. They have to know what the finish line is and how to get there successfully. But most importantly, we want them to know how to prepare for exams by using these long-term strategies we've talked about. So where can all these strategies be learned in the long term? Where can you make sure that your kids know the grammar they need? Where can you make sure they know they're getting that vocabulary systematically every day? Where can you make sure that they are learning test-taking skills when necessary? And where can you make sure that they are fluent in math? Well, we have a program called the STARS program. S-T-A-R-S stands for studious. S, teachable, T, ambitious, A, R, responsible, S, students. The STARS program. And the STARS program is ScholarSkills' elite specialized training in arithmetic and reading skills program for students with exceptional ability. We offer scholarships to this program also in the forms of matching funds, and we also offer guidance counseling to parents who are seeking to get their children into the top independent schools. So if you're interested in the STARS program, go to our websites and go to our website, ScholarSkills.com, and look for the tab that says STARS Scholarships at ScholarSkills.com. That's www.ScholarSkills.com and look for STARS scholarships. You learn more about the STARS program. You do have to apply for it. It is not a regular tutorial program. It is an elite program that identifies and serves students with exceptional academic potential. Specifically right now from grades 2 through 4. That's what we're focusing on, because we recognize that it is within those grades that all the foundations are built. And so the ScholarSkills for STARS is a federally recognized 501c3 not-for-profit organization which identifies and serves students with exceptional academic potential. And we provide tuition scholarships in the form of matching funds to help these students secure the long-term enrichment they need to get the top scores and get into top schools. This is a great program also to prepare students to qualify for other prestigious programs such as A Better Chance, Oliver Scholars, and Prep for Prep. STARS will also provide personalized guidance counseling for parents, as I said before, who want to know more about the independent private schools. So the STARS program will help your children learn those long-term skills, vocabulary, grammar, fluency in math, writing, test-taking ability, all those things to prepare them to take the ISEE and the SSAT and other important exams by the 5th grade. Because most of the programs, A Better Chance and Prep for Prep, only begin admitting students in the 5th grade. But our program says, look, don't wait till then. Get ready now, so that when your child's a 4th grader, he or she is so well advanced that they will be towering above other kids and have a great advantage. I don't mean that in a personal way, but yes, you want your kids to have an advantage. So when they apply for these programs or take these tests without applying for these programs, they become the cream of the crop. They are right at the top. So please go to ScholarSkills.com, look at the STARS program, click on the link there also for ISEE test prep, and you'll also see a booklet on that page for the STARS program. Click there to download that booklet. It will help you to understand more about the independent schools. And if you download that booklet, please, by all means, share it with your friends, okay? You can apply for the STARS program directly at our website at www.scholarskills.com/ScholarSkills for STARS. But just go there to the website and you'll see the program. It's a wonderful program giving long-term enrichment for long-term achievement. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me directly at 718-258-4647. That's 718-258-4647. Or email me at scholarskills@gmail.com. That is scholarskills@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you, parents. If you are interested in getting more information about the schools, let me know. Give me a call and send me an email once again at scholarskills@gmail.com or call me at 718-258-4647. That's 718-258-4647. Please feel free to share this podcast with your friends. Also, share the booklet with your friends. Share information that's valuable to other parents who might be interested in getting their kids ahead and not waiting till the last moment. Short-term prep has its place, but long-term preparation is the best step before you do any test prep. So if your kids are hungry for more, if you're hungry for more, if you want your kids to get ahead and achieve at higher levels, call us at ScholarSkills at 718-258-4647 or email us at scholarskills@gmail.com. That's ScholarSkills@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Have a wonderful day.